No, I'm kidding. No, it's just all.
Can we put up a...
Once I know that,
Okay. We're not in progress.
Where you at?
Oh, you want to have this be the...
Yeah, why? No.
sooner better.
No, not sooner. No, sooner or later, I'm just wondering. Why do you have to do so?
Oh, you think it's a computer? That's just the, but we have everything on the
Second base, so the opening take a hit.
House means a bunch of things to me, but most importantly, I would say the big three: family, liberation, and love. What it means to be house to me differs for a bunch of people. I think for me, it means doing something, being active in something, fighting for something. Our identity has like since 1938 has been
a wide variety of exceptionally rich storytelling thanks to the very talented BECA 562 video documentary production class in collaboration with the BECA 535 Advanced Audio for Video class. And can we please get a round of applause for all these amazing students? And a round of applause, please, for our amazing Professors Hogel and Jacobi and our These things would not be possible without both of your immense patience and expertise, and most of all, your trust in us students. So thank you so much. So tonight, I'm excited to help present to you a few stories about the future. The future of alternative punk shows, the future of one cute little crowd's life, the future of the San Andreas Vault, the future of one Bay Area roller derby theater, and the future of student organizing. We are living in a very uncertain world with very uncertain futures. However, I'm honored to present to you all a few films where my fellow classmates and youth are doing as we always have, heeding the task of imagining the unimaginable for our collective futures. We also have a special short film that's a comedy titled First Impressions, and I hope you enjoy that one. So without further ado, I welcome you all tonight to enjoy these students' hard work and superb storytelling about the varied niches that make up the beautiful Bay Area. And so for our first documentary, I'd like to present to you Aftershock. Quaking, trembling, the San Andreas Fault is a boundary line that lives under millions of people in the San Francisco Bay Area. Aftershock investigates and dives into the history of the fault line task. When will San Francisco get hit with the big one? Thank you and enjoy.
I was about 15 years old. I was a freshman in high school, and as a 15-year-old teenager, I was taking a nap, and I remember it was a World Series that day, but I wasn't interested at that time, and I was taking a nap on my bunk bed. I remember falling off the bunk bed for some reason, and I was in a daze, and I woke up and I saw the walls in our bedroom shaking or moving side to side, back and forth. And I immediately looked outside and I saw all the cars had stopped and everybody was honking their horn. And then I looked at the power lines. At the time, it was right outside our bedroom window. Everything was moving side to side, and then the power went out.
That was the day I was taking a test. I was going down to take my GED. And I had driven down what was called a cyberstructure. That's the one that collapsed in Central Open. And we were in the test site taking the test when the earthquake hit.
We had a two-story house, an old Victorian home, and I remember being in my room and I was reading a book. We just saw our house swinging back and forth.
Because my dad's kind of a looky-loo tourist kind of guy, and he actually traveled to San Francisco to watch all the destruction and fires after pleading for him not to go.
It was one of those things where you feel like something important just happened. Big change just happened. You know, I had friends in downtown Santa Cruz. Downtown Santa Cruz went down. They had to rebuild Santa Cruz downtown.
We ran outside and everybody was on the street yelling and screaming. And it was just chaos that I had never seen before.
So 1989 was a low-threat earthquake, but the Marina District of San Francisco had a lot of damage. And the reason for that is that the Marina District, in fact, the whole edge of the bay is largely man-made land. So, you know, San Francisco kind of became populated very rapidly in the gold rush. And so over the years following that, they very rapidly expanded the amount of land mass that people were living on. The Marina District is entirely filled in basin. And so that's a problem, because what happens when you have an earthquake is that the seismic waves, as they travel up through those soft sediments to the surface, they get amplified. So you have much stronger ground shaking around the margins of the bay on this man-made land than you do in the core of San Francisco, but that ground motion will amplify the marina district, causing a lot of damage in San Francisco. So we would expect to see the same trends in the future earthquakes.
2025 San Francisco, lively, happy, and sprawling with millions of life. Yet it all faces the same fate, the terror of the great San Andreas Fault, a boundary line between the Pacific Plate and the North American Plate that stretches 800 miles from the Gulf of California and veers off the coast of San Francisco. The fault runs off San Francisco's backyard, Daly City. From the south, the fault runs under family neighborhoods, businesses, and highways. The fault was created 300 million years ago and reaches 10 miles deep within the Earth's surface. The fault has been the cause of major earthquakes in the Bay Area, resulting in death and destruction not even 35 years ago. Every day, millions of people walk around the San Francisco Bay Area, but little do they know, small earthquakes are happening almost every day along the massive fault line that are leading up to a major quake.
You know, when we think of the planet being a stationary body, it's not. It's very much in motion. So the internal structure of the Earth is in this state of convection, and that drives these surface plates to move relative to one another. And so North America, Pacific are moving with respect to one another like this, and San Andreas Fault right along that barrier. So these plates are moving constantly, they don't stop. And as they move, the strain builds up at the joint, the San Andreas Fault, until the fault is just not strong enough anymore to hold that built up strain. And so it pops, and that's what the earthquake is. The reality is that every day there are literally hundreds of very small earthquakes on the San Andreas Fault, on the Haywood Fault in East Bay. And every time one of those earthquakes triggers, sometimes the next patch on the fault triggers, and sometimes the next patch and the next patch on the fault triggers. So we have lots of very small magnitude earthquakes constantly happening on these faults that we can detect with our seismic work. But then one day, for whatever reason, the right patch is going to trigger, and it's going to cause the next patch, and the next patch, and the next patch, and it's going to grow, and it's going to become a very big earthquake.
April 18, 1906. The city was ill prepared for the dangers they faced. 5:12 a.m. The city was awoken by a 7.9 magnitude earthquake. The violent shaking lasted 60 seconds and was felt as far as Oregon, Nevada, and Los Angeles. The surface rupture length was found to be 296 miles, which spanned from San Juan Bautista to just south of Eureka. Studies found the surface offset to be anywhere from 8 to 12 feet. A fence was recorded moving 8.5 feet during the earthquake. After the tragedy, over 3,000 lives were lost and 28,000 buildings were destroyed, leaving it as one of the strongest earthquakes San Francisco's Bay Area has ever seen. But 83 years later, the new and improved city was attacked by the nightmare all over again. October 17, 1989. It was the World Series Battle of the Bay. San Francisco Giants versus Athletics. The city was lively, celebrating this joyous moment. Until 5:04 p.m. The San Andreas Fault shifted again and terrorized the city of the magnitude of 6.9. There are some similarities between real life and fiction. The 2015 San Andreas movie shows off the San Andreas Fault to the world and does it in a big way. But are these moments what the city really expected?
You know, they show a huge crack that's, 10 meters wide. So we don't expect to see anything like that. When the 1906 earthquake occurred, So it's a strike-slip fault, which means that the two plates move like this, and that's completely unrealistic. The way they show people interacting with damaging buildings is sort of absurd. I mean, in a big earthquake, the shaking is so strong that people can't stand up. So it's not like you can get up during an earthquake and try and run around or leave a building or something like that. You will immediately fall over. And in fact, you know, a very large fraction of the injuries that happen in earthquakes are because people fall over and injure themselves, or things like bookcases fall on people. You don't expect a tsunami. You get a tsunami in a subduction zone, which is where you have a vertical motion of the seafloor, and we have that offshore of Oregon and Washington. But here in California, we don't expect to see that. We expect to see just the horizontal motion, and so we don't expect a tsunami wave. So basically you see like some sort of uplift, and then which apparently brings a BART tube up to the surface and the BART train pops out. I mean, again, that's a significant vertical motion, which we don't expect to see. Also, that of course is in downtown San Francisco. Well, the San Andreas Fault does not go through downtown San Francisco. The San Andreas Fault goes offshore in Daly City up to Point Reyes. And so again, the downtown San Francisco area is going to have very strong shaking, very serious shaking. But you're not going to have these big offsets, which is what you see actually on the fault. They show a scene where they have a wide view and you can see P waves and S waves, the actual seismic waves, kind of moving across the Bay Area, for example, or LA, I guess. But it's moving across the area. And that's something that you probably would be able to see in a large earthquake, is maybe not as large an amplitude as they have, but you would actually be able to see the waves moving, like just like you see ocean waves.
The film does dramatize the events of a San Andreas fault shift, but is it really something that the city of San Francisco should be worried about? San Francisco has been hit hard in the past, and they've only rebuilt and created a stronger and better city. But it all leads down to the question California wants answered. Will there be the big one?
Unfortunately, there's no doubt about that. We know that there will be a large magnitude earthquake, probably like a magnitude 8, that will occur on the San Andreas Fault. The only unknown is when. And so the fact that San Francisco sits right next to the San Andreas Fault means that it is a certainty that this is going to happen at some point. The last time this happened was, of course, in 1906, and when we had a magnitude 8 on the San Andreas Fault. And we try to estimate the likelihood of that earthquake occurring again over the coming years. What we cannot do is say it's going to happen on Wednesday. But what we can do is say what's the likelihood of an earthquake like that over some longer period of time. And so the answer is yes, there is a big earthquake coming. There's a big earthquake coming on the San Andreas Fault. There's a big earthquake coming on the Hayward Fault in the East Bay as well. So we have to be ready for that. There's a very high probability that one of those earthquakes will occur during our lifetime. It's about a 2 in 3 chance of a large damaging earthquake in the next 30 years. So unfortunately, we have no mechanism to really understand when that's going to happen or see any indicators until the actual earthquake happens. However, what we can do now is we can very rapidly see the earthquake is happening. We can detect the earthquake, and then we can send out a warning to people before they feel the shaking. And so this is what's called earthquake early warning. There's several things that people can do. Number one, they should download the MyShake app. So if they download the MyShake app, it's free. They will get earthquake alerts. They will get a few seconds warning before the earthquake shaking so they can protect themselves. The action that everybody should do in an earthquake is drop, cover, and hold on. Right? So you get down on the floor. That's so that you don't fall over and injure yourself. Cover means you get under a sturdy table so that things can't fall onto you. And then hold on is you hold on to the table so that it stays over you. Number two is, what is your plan as an individual? What's the plan to bring people together? What's the plan for the following 3, 4, 5 days after a big earthquake? When we're going to be fending for ourselves. Emergency services are going to be dealing with injuries and things like that. We're going to have to look after ourselves.
As a first responder, I'm a fire captain now. The whole system is going to be overwhelmed. Whether it's a wildfire or an earthquake. An earthquake, it's going to be really bad. What concerns me is how is it going to affect our response time based on the traffic? How is it going to affect the water supply because of the massive amounts of fire that's going to probably occur? And then, depending on how strong the city waterways are, is that going to be compromised? So all those things come to mind as a first responder and what my concerns would be. And then prepping. Not a lot of people prep for this kind of stuff.
So it's important that we all take on that responsibility, and then you can prepare. You can do the things that I suggested. You can get a warnings, you can have a plan, and you can be thinking about the buildings that you live and work in. If we pay attention to that, then we can be in a place where, yes, an earthquake will have an impact on us, but we don't expect it to kill us. Right? That's the goal here.
Well, thank you so much. Wasn't that amazing and a little bit scary? I'd like to invite the team that helped put this together, our amazing video and audio storytellers, Samantha, Sahara, Alejandro, Sam, and Matt. And please give them a round of applause as they come up here. Thank you, guys. So this is kind of just a moment for you guys to say a little piece of your own, if you'd like to. And then we'll open up for a Q&A from all of you. So, awesome. Come closer, come closer.
Sam, you want to go first?
Yeah, this is your project.
Hi, I'm Samantha. I'm the director and producer. I have a little something, but I say coming up with this idea was very easy in a way for me because I've always been asking questions and wanting to know answers, and so this is a really big question that I got answered because, you know, it's something that runs through my backyard and all of our backyards, so, you know, I wanted to kind of, you know, educate everyone and myself as well. But making this project was really fun. I had a great team. Sahar, my editor, the endless nights that she spent editing this film, thank you. My sound team, of course, Matt and Sam. I mean, listen to that. It was amazing. I love the ending specifically. And then, of course, my videographer, cameraman, Alejandro. You know, you're amazing, and it captured our interview so beautifully and everything else. So thank you to my team. I really hope you enjoyed it and took away something a little from it, but yeah.
I just wanted to say thank you to Samantha, Sahara, and Alejandro for this just being a really fun project to work on. And it was a lot of fun to do all the post for. It was also a lot of fun to do all the production. We went on a lot of cool field trips to all these different places. And they were really cool and like super communicative and made things really easy for us. And I hope we made things easy for you too. And this was a really fun project to work on, and I'm really excited to see everybody else's.
Okay, so now, thank you guys, thank you all, amazing work. Any questions from the crowd? We're now taking a Q&A. Anybody? Please raise your hand, yes.
Can you guys show us how to do the drop cover and roll?
Nope. But I hope you're prepared for it.
Any other questions for our amazing team up here? Yes.
We have a mic over there.
Is there any readiness measures y'all have taken since, you know, you've done the interview and, you know, sort of get to look into?
No. I will one day, but I mean, I know my drop cover and hold, so at least we got that covered.
I was just trying to steal some tips.
I do have the MyShake app. The interviewee that we actually did with, he made that app. So, yeah. Yeah.
It's like selling your own project.
Hello. Where'd you find all the people that you interviewed?
So I found Richard Allen, our seismologist, from someone I contacted at Caus. What was the one? It's a college in LA, and then the 3 survivors, one is actually Sam's dad, and then one is my dad and my stepmom. But yeah, they all had really cool stories, so I really liked implementing those in the doc.
Thank you.
Hello. I think I remember you guys talking about using a holophone for this project. Could the sound team maybe talk a little bit about mixing in surround sound? And Matt, would you like to tell us a little bit about your composition process? I really enjoyed the music as always. Unless you didn't, then you chose music.
So I'll address things in the order you asked. We used the Holophone H3D surround microphone for this. So what we did was when we were shooting B-roll, we used a microphone that it had 6 channels, so 6 different microphones, with each one of them recording in a different direction. We didn't end up using much of the recordings we used for it. I used some of it for the backgrounds, but most of the shots that we actually used it for B-roll, ended up not making the final cut, which is kind of funny. But we now have these really cool 6-channel recordings that what we would do is import them into a Pro Tools or Innuendo session or whatever, and then you could just drag and drop them into like a 5.1 channel, or you could pan them all into the different directions you want. And so you would kind of have the different areas that we've picked up in our recording be reflected in like a multi-channel setup like this one in here, or a theater.
Awesome. I have another question. Are you guys scared of an earthquake now after making this?
Yeah, like a lot.
That really got to me. Thanks.
Yeah.
One last question.
Anyone else have a question?
Hello. My question is a 2-for-1. So I wanted to ask the visual team, what was your favorite location to record? And then for the sound team, what was your favorite location to, record for sound?
Sorry. I think for visuals, it was really nice getting to work out just in the environment and the nature you're kind of in right now in San Francisco. That was always fun doing it. Working with a Perfect Audio team, that was fun. We kind of made work more of like a fun situation, bringing in stories, captivating stories from other, I guess, subjects and talent who used the part of it. But I will say Berkeley was fun. Getting to fly the drone around was always great. A lot of learning experiences for me, so that was great.
What was the name of the place we went to, the beach we went to in Pacifica? Muscle Rock? Muscle Rock Park was my favorite place to shoot, and we had the surround microphone for that, and me and Matt were up there carrying this thing around, and it was super fun and super beautiful. So I recommend that beach if you haven't been there already.
We gotta move on.
We gotta move on. Thank you guys.
Hello, everybody. I'm Milena. Next documentary will dive into student organizations and politics on our campus. San Francisco State is home to the first College of Ethnic Studies, the longest student strike in U.S. history from 1968, and a dedicated legacy of pro-Palestine organizing led by the last dancing chapter of the General Union of Palestinian Students. Follow Zinnia, the president of this union, for a semester of steadfast student organizing under the barrels of the Trump administration. Enjoy.
Palestine means a bunch of things to me, but most importantly, I would say the big 3: family, liberation, and love.
This is so cute.
What it means to be Palestinian differs for a bunch of people. I think for me, it means doing something, being active in something, fighting for something. Our identities have, since 1948, has been stemmed down towards resistance and fighting towards your own existence. My aims in life as a Palestinian is to benefit my people and take my people further. So the General Union of Palestine Students is a student org built out of our mission to liberate Palestine and do our work here in the diaspora to move towards that mission. A lot of it is like raising awareness culturally, politically, but a big part of what GUPS, I think, to me is like political education, like really politicizing people, getting them involved in the movement, teaching them about Palestine on like, not just on a surface level, like we should care about Palestine, like why should we care? Why did things come to be like what they are now? What are the circumstances? So as you can see, there's different types of like administrative detentions also from compared to like the occupation prisons themselves. But over here, I want to keep in mind Galboa prison up top, northern Gaza. We're going to be talking about that one. Organizing is like a science and an art. You have to be taught, you have to learn, you have to train, and it separates from like the curriculums you're learning in like classrooms because you're actively being in these like lived experiences to like further yourself into the movement. The General Union of Palestine Students started in like the 50s in Cairo, Egypt, and they continued their organizing through the 6-Day War, the Naksa in '67, and like the Intifadas. But during the 90s in Palestine, there was the Normalization Accord, so like the Oslo Accords came to be between the Palestinian Liberation Organization and occupying Israel. They started having these normalizing agreements, and the Oslo was like not just one agreement, it was like multiple, where they started like normalizing a two-state solution, normalizing who controls what part of Palestine, who governs what, and all these things, and essentially agreeing on a two-state. And Palestine will never be a two-state. People of Palestine will never want a two-state. We are our own sovereign country. The Palestinian Liberation Organization is the organization that the General Union of Palestine Students fell under. So we were part of their like coalition of students. Since then, because of like normalizing, we don't need to fight for Palestine anymore. We have a two-state. We have our sovereign land now. We don't need to fight. People were asked to dissolve. But GUPS as a state found that out and kind of divested from the PLO and divested from these normalization like conversations so we can keep our legacy here. To be one of the last standing chapters in the West is such an honor in my opinion, because when I meet older people, like older elders that were part of GUPS in their 70s, in their 80s, 90s, 2000s, and hearing the work they did for GUPS, but we're the last standing like structural GUPS in the like US. And it's an honor and it's a legacy we want to uphold. I think we're in an era now where it's like this new era of like McCarthyism coming like here, like anti-Semitism is like the new communism to like this Trump administration and to the US as a whole. I think at state, I think it's more of like feeling unprotected. I as a Palestinian student here for my organizing and activism don't feel protected. I don't feel protected by administration, I don't feel protected by outside forces. And it's because people find it hard to speak about Palestine. People find it hard to like proudly denounce the genocide. People find it hard to speak out against injustices until it's like a mainstream comment. And my biggest fear right now is like students getting kidnapped like in the night for their activism, for their organizing, students getting detained, deported. And whether they're, like we've seen it with Mahmoud Khalil and Niqab Kurdiya where it's like green card holder or not, or like permanent residents or not, you're still under that system of being targeted by our administration. And we've seen schools like Columbia work with their Trump administration, work with ICE, work with Department of Homeland Security to get these students. And I don't have faith in our administration here as a state to protect students on that level.
General Union of Palestine Students here at SF State. Please give it up for Zainab!
This blatant and dangerous conflation of anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism constitutes a direct attack on the civil right to free speech. We demand the presidents of our universities must condemn the illegal abductions of students by ICE and the attack on the civil liberties of students and faculty members. We demand universities must cut ties and collaborations with ICE and protect their students from doxing, stalking, and harassment. Not only today have we sent a message to all our university administrations, but also to the Trump administration.
What we have today is a historic event, a historic show of force for the student movement. 11 campuses from across the entire Northern California region represented here today. Showing us that the student movement truly is leading our struggle here in the diaspora. They want us to stop organizing. They want us to stop mobilizing. And right now, Gaza is demanding that we continue. And are we going to stop? I said, are we going to stop?
We see the students
our voices and actions play an important role in paving a path towards resistance and justice. However, it is only through organizing in unity with all people from different sectors and backgrounds, especially working class masses.
There is only one solution! There is only one solution! Intifada revolution! Intifada revolution! There is only one solution!
The fight against fascism and U.S. imperialism has a special place and unique history on college campuses, and especially here at San Francisco State. We have a duty, a desire, and the ability to really move shit. This is our history as students. We have a duty to the people of Palestine, to the people of El Salvador, and our people right here, right now, to continue to fight, to organize and be agitated, but also very intentional about how we are achieving liberation. So today, we are here to hold our educational institutions accountable.
We came together under this banner because we need to be united more than ever in this time. We all have different circumstances on different campuses. We all face different repression. We all have different risks. We all have different bodies, everything. But at the end of the day, we're all fighting towards one goal, and that's our short-term goal of divestment and our long-term goal of liberation. And we can't be isolated to our campuses because that makes it even easier for them to come for us.
This was my first day ever of college, ever. What? And they had me table on the first day at GUPS. That's my sister Sabrine.
Sabrine's my older sister. She's 3 years older than me, sometimes 4 out of the year. But I see her as like my idol in every way. I think she's so inspiring. Growing up with Sabrine and how she's like influenced how I lead GUPS and how GUPS is facilitated, I think is really important to me because she's taught me everything I know. Sabrine made herself known, and I think that also helped me along with the rest of GUPS make ourselves like an unavoidable presence on this campus. I think the women in my life impacted me a lot in regards to how I lead because they're all really strong and loud women. Like my grandma she passed away like 3 years ago, but she was really like funny in regards to how she would even confront like settlers, like Israeli settlers, or like confront the occupation. And she would sometimes just throw candy at them out of her like really dusty bag. And I think seeing even like, and she was also like 94, like even at that really grown age, she was able to like always just make herself present. Like you wouldn't be able to go anywhere without seeing her and like hearing her voice. And even like my mom is like, she wouldn't let anyone speak to her in any way, even if she didn't even know English. Like her face says it all. We grew up really rough in a way, like we had really like restrictions to how we could like even act with our own personalities at home, but also like outside factors, like being 2 Muslim girls that were like hijabis at a very young age. Like we both were hijabis in like elementary school, and having that environment. I wore the hijab in 5th grade, so it was like the end of elementary school. Middle school is when like I really saw, like I would have people trying to take off my hijab, and it's like even people of color that you would assume are like your peers, like my other Arab and like Muslim students, I didn't even have that support because America will always try to like separate and divide your people until you put in the work to like maintain that connection. Our parents have always been very political. Like I woke up with like Al Jazeera blasting on the news and like Baba being very anti-imperialist, anti-colonial, and Mama as well. And it's like, it was drilled into us to always just be aware and know that like America is not the end all be all. We've always just had this ingrained in us, like we're not permanent. I remember telling my classmates every year in elementary school, like 5th grade, 4th grade, everything, I would be like, oh no, I'm moving back to Palestine this summer. Like I'm moving back. Like it was always said, and it wasn't until like 8th grade where that actually happened. Baba just thought it was time, but we moved back, and it was just really, that was a really big culture shock. Like seeing Philistine for the first time in my life, seeing like the people, like these cousins and these uncles and these blood relatives I was supposed to like have known my whole life, meeting them all at once for the first time. There was like 50 of them in a room, but it was really like grounding to me as a person. I feel like those were my really formative years. I was, I think, 11 when I moved there, or 12. Moved back here like around 17 or 16, and I remember like learning, like growing up so quickly over there. Like over there you're forced to like grow up so quickly. You have not only like the occupation looming over you, but like you have these like societal and like cultural like standards. Like you have society telling you like you as a girl you can't be going to the corner store anymore. You're too older for that. Like you have to go with like a mahram, which is like a man that's like supposed to like lead the way for you and like keep you safe. And I'm just like, first of all, I'm my mahram. It's made me really like confident in like who I am as a person along with my identity, because it's like I have these two factors, and like it's not like, oh, I'm just Palestinian but lived in America my whole life. It's like I've been to Palestine and I lived here and I have like a lot of my formative years in both places, and I'm like able to like really be knowledgeable about that and like experience.
We are speaking up against genocide. Why are we being subjugated to violence? Make some noise for UC Berkeley students! Make some noise for SF State students!
We're here today because of a national call to action from the National Students for Justice in Palestine. A fellow comrade in Colombia, Mahmoud Khalil, has been prosecuted and kidnapped by DHS, Department of Homeland Security, and ICE. He was part of the Colombian encampment. He was one of the negotiators and the leaders for that. And Mahmoud is just one of the first faces of many that we might see get repressed by Trump in this new administration. I think seeing someone that can just be kidnapped so easily and just taken from us, it's very scary, and especially to our people in the community that are like undocumented or like also our green card holders. Even if they're citizens, it's just very scary time. But I also think this is something we knew was going to happen. Students have always been repressed, especially students that are organizing around Palestine. And I think now I'm feeling not hopeful, but I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to reignite what we had last year. If you've been at State the past year, you've seen everything we've been doing. And same with Berkeley, if you've been to Berkeley, I think it's us in the power of students to like reignite the student intifada and to reignite the power we have as students. For sure, I have a political responsibility being Palestinian. I'm not going to just live in the privileges of like being in the diaspora and like going to school and getting good grades. I want to be able to fight for my people, even if it's I'm there or if I'm here, and to also bring my people that are part of the community to also fight for it. Like, be politicized, be a part of the movement. And coming from SF State, where like a movement has already been built, we're all so very politicized. We're just not being just working class peoples, but also like we're not known for like our frats and sororities. We're known for like our student orgs, and that should say something about SF State. And like we have the first College of Ethnic Studies, and like I'm an RS minor, and I love taking ethnic studies classes, RS classes. Like I find so much joy in that, and I think it should be like my personal choice is like I have a responsibility I want to uphold. I want to fight for Palestine. I want to fight for the liberation, and I think it should be up to everyone as well.
We gotta be silent! No! Students, I said no, we gotta be silent! No!
When I'm learning about like women's history back home and like the resistance front of it, it's truly inspiring. Like these women were in their high heels, skirted up, throwing rocks at like Israeli soldiers and settlers, and they're constantly in the background of things, but they themselves are known, and they're known to people in GUPS, they're known to people all over the world because we understand like the movement for women in Palestine and their role in it is essential. It's essential when it comes to the mothers of martyrs. It's essential when it comes to creating spaces for Palestinian youth to get together and get politicized. Like a lot of the community centers we see in Palestine are run by women. The donors are women. The coaches are women. Everything is just women. GUPS has, my whole 4 years here has been predominantly queer and femme. But I'm not expecting everyone that comes into a GUP space to be on the same politicized level that we're all on, or to meet us like where we're at instantly. It's like you come as you are and grow as you go. And that's like a saying in organizing constantly. But I think the space of like having a queer and femme centered space in GUPS really like just creates community more so. Most of our scholars are Palestinian women. They've set the foundation for a lot of the things we learn, and a lot of our professors and scholars and doctors are women. These are the people that keep our society going, especially in Palestine. I think my hopes and dreams for the community I have here is to see it live on. Like GUPS has been here since the 70s, and even like the friendship we have like other orgs like Mela, like seeing that carried on. Like I don't want to see hosting be avoidable on this campus. It hasn't been for like the past decade, and like we're the first of so many. Like the first to have a Palestinian mural, the first to get divestment, the first to get to AS divestment, and the first, like the only ever like GUPS in the country. And I want to see that like legacy lived on, because yeah, the work we do is important, but like the legacy we uphold is also really important, and it's like one arm of our legacy here, like one arm of like the work we do. Palestine is like the center and end all be all for me. Like I can't not go without talking about it. I can't not go without it being something that's always revolving in my life, whether in my studies, personal, organizing, anything.
It was a great movie, and now I want to invite the team that stands behind this important topic. So I'm going to ask for Kaylee, Shalif, Lily, and their audio team as well, Renee and Dylan. Couple of words for our audience about this movie. How did you make it? How did you come up with this idea?
Yes. Well, this is really interesting and beautiful, and really, I'm just grateful. I'm very grateful to this entire team here, to our amazing talent, Zainab, to all my friends, myself. But Zainab is a close friend of mine. We've been friends like since I started here at State, and we met through student organizing. So I knew that I wanted to tell a story about this like really amazing space that I've been able to be a part of for so many years, that's kept me around on this campus, that's kept me like going through everything that happens in our lives, both personal, political, everywhere, every aspect. And I'm really glad that I was able to do this with you all, because I really love her, and I really love talking about liberation and working towards liberation. So that's all I have to say about that. And thank you guys.
I was just gonna say it's an ongoing movement as well, and we wouldn't have been able to do it without each other. And it was awesome to get to show it to a huge audience, so thank you.
Yeah, I think for me, well, first of all, great edit, and appreciate the opportunity to be pulled into the project. Was able to shoot it, and yeah, it was just a dope topic. Yeah.
I'm grateful for working with you guys. It was a really important topic. I learned a lot. You guys presented it really well. I'm happy I could see the behind the scenes and be there at the rally. So that was a really cool experience for me. It inspired me a lot. So thank you. Great job.
Yeah, I mean, I've been part of other organizations in the past. You know, this isn't like my first rodeo with student organizing in general, but it's great to see another perspective in student organizing in general and how rallies are organized between y'all's front, you know.
Thank you so much. Does anybody have any questions for this amazing team?
Hello. Okay. As a student organizer yourself, why do you think it's important for people to know that these spaces are predominantly queer and femme spaces?
I think, well, going into this, like, as a queer and femme person, I think that's really why I wanted to tell this story. There's a couple reasons I think it's important that people know that. I think first and foremost, and the reason that I chose to highlight that, or try to highlight that with the talent, also the questions that we were able to ask Zainab, is because kind of like she described, like these spaces are predominantly run by these people who oftentimes don't get their flowers until they're dead. And I also, like, being in this space
the people who have made it what it is for me and who have taught me so much about organizing, about like my own political history, about the political history of the people in Palestine and across all these different struggles, these interconnected struggles, have been women and femmes and queer people, and those are the people who have kept me going, people who have held me down, like fed me when I was hungry, and so really I was indebted to these people and decided I wanted to highlight that history. But also I just think it's dope. Like, I love media and I really love women, femmes, and queer people in media, and I don't think we get enough credit for the things that we do, and enough like screen time, anything. So like, this is something that I am able to direct and produce, and I'm going to, for that reason, put us in the center, because we never get to be in the center. And we're dope. Like, but thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. One more round of applause for this speech.
Milana, there's a question over here.
Oh,
sorry. One more question.
I know.
I just I wanted to ask, if you guys had unlimited time and resources and were going to expand on this story, what would you want to expand on? Because there's a lot of like interesting like paths you started to explore in this, and I'm curious. Well, anyways, you get it. I'm curious.
I love this question. Thank you. Because when I first wrote the pitch for this, it was